So I want to get into the Word of God. I don't know how long this service is going to be, and I'm going to tell you why. You may be used to a certain time period of my preaching style, but today I think I have something a little unique that I'm going to say this, and I'm going to today will be prophetic. Today will be prophetic. In my devotional time, I've been asking God what to say to people in this season that they're in right now, and He gave me a prophetic word. And I'm telling you this today will be prophetic. It will be the opportunity for you to see what God is getting ready to do, even though you're not living in it yet. I need you to hear what I just said. You will get a chance to see and hear what God is getting ready to do, what God is getting ready to move you into, what He's already done. He's getting ready to move you into what He's already done. Today will be a prophetic gesture. I want to read something that I read over a year ago that I just kind of read, but I didn't dive into and dissect, and that is Amos chapter 9. Amos chapter 9 from the Message Bible. Amos chapter 9, starting at verse number 13. Again, that's Amos chapter 9, starting at verse number 13. I'm reading this from the Message Bible. It says, "Yes, indeed, it won't be long now, God decrees. Things are going to happen so fast, your head will swim. One thing fast on the heels of another. You won't be able to keep up. Everything will happen at once. And everywhere you look, blessings. Blessings like wine pouring off the mountains and the hills. I will make everything right again for my people, Israel. They'll rebuild their ruined cities. They'll plant vineyards. They'll drink good wine. They'll make work their gardens. And they'll eat fresh vegetables. I'll plant them in their own land. They'll never again be uprooted from their land. I've given it to them. God, your God, says so." I want to prophesy. I want to talk today from this particular topic. Promise of restoration and blessing. Promise of restoration and blessing. As I dive into the fivefold ministry, the one that God is having me to deal with today is prophetic. It is absolutely prophetic. Oftentimes, I don't find myself dealing in this posture, or this prophetic posture. Every now and then I give you words of encouragement. I believe God tells me to prophesy, but I have never in this light dealt with the entire text as prophetic. And I don't know who this is for today, but God says promises of restoration and blessing. This is a season. This is a message of a prophetic shift for this entire service. So the first thing is I want to declare to you, in this text, He says, it won't be long. That's my first prophecy to somebody today. That God told me to tell you that it won't be long. Hear me, write this down. Your patience is paying off. Your patience is paying off. This is good anxiety. I know we talk about anxiety from bad, but God says this is good anxiety. I want to let you know that you're on the heels of anticipation. There are some things God is getting ready to move so you can see it. There's some people God's getting ready to move so you can see it. And it won't be long. I need you to hear me. For Him to say that, Amos would say, it won't be long, it speaks to the future. It speaks to the future. God is decreeing that it won't be long. For whatever you've been praying for, whatever you've been praying about, it is my goal today not to get excited, but to be prophetic to you that patience is paying off. You thought that God wasn't going to do it. You've been dealing with it for years. You've been dealing with it for months. But I'm hearing God that says for somebody over the next 72 hours, it won't be long. The patience, the things you've been praying about, it will not be long. God decrees. What do you mean, Pastor? The word said God decrees, which means God is not a man that He should lie. Neither is He the son of man that He shall not repent. Has He not spoken, it shall come to pass. What God speaks and what He spoke is going to come to pass. This is for somebody today. And it won't be long. The timetable has just shortened. I don't know who that's for today, but God says the timetable has just shortened. I need you to hear me prophetically. Hear what I'm saying. He says you need to hang on to the promises because it won't be long. It is a reassurance. Today I am only reassuring what he spoke to you, what he said to you, that it won't be long before you see the manifestation of what it is. I don't know if it's the 24 hours. He just told me to tell somebody it's going to be 72 hours, which is 3 days, and this thing is going to turn around. But I'm going to show you something in the rest of this text. It's really going to bless you. God says hang on to the promises of healing, hang on to the promises of breakthrough, hang on to the promises of deliverance, hang on to the promises of open doors. I need you to hear me. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Hang on to the promises of healing for those who've been dealing with issues and illness that you've been trying to fight the enemy about. I don't know who this is for, but today, again, I am reiterating, it is my job, it is my assignment to be prophetic. And God is saying, hang on because your healing is being manifested. If you walk in the principles of what he's teaching you, today is a faith prophetic movement that God says, hang on to the breakthrough, hang on to the deliverance, hang on to that the doors are opening and it will not be long. Somebody ought to shout, I'm hanging on, I'm hanging on. Prophetically, I'm hanging on. I'm not going to let go. And therein lies where the enemy wants to fight you. He knows that you're close. He knows that you're closer than you think. And if you just let go too early, you have no idea what you're going to miss. He says, it's going to happen. I want to read something to you. One thing fast on the heels of another. Let me draw this prophetic gesture. Let me draw this prophetic picture for you. He says, Amos says it's going to happen fast. One thing on the heels of another. Let me draw this narrative. Let me draw this picture. Where Amos is, it is a agricultural environment. It's an agricultural environment. So what he's doing is he's prophesying so they can understand what's getting ready to happen. And what he's really saying is this is going to be a continual harvest. What happens is harvest comes once a year. They have the seed, they have the plunging, they have to plant seeds, and it is a yearly cycle. So harvest comes once a year during a certain season. But what he's saying is the harvest is going to come yearly and seeds are going to be planted yearly. So in other words, as soon as you plant, harvest is coming. As soon as you harvest, planting is coming. I need you to hear what I just said. As soon as you plant, the harvest is going to hop up. As soon as you grab it, God is going to give you more seeds. Watch the cycle. This is going to be a yearly cycle of planting and receiving. This, hear me prophetically, it's going to happen on the heels. As soon as you plant, God's going to open the door. As soon as you grab, God's going to give you more seed. As soon as you plant the seed, God is going to give you a harvest. As soon as you grab the harvest, God is going to give you more seed. This is going to be a cycle. It's going to be over and over and over and over and over again. Write this down. He told me to tell you that you're going to have an accelerated season. You're going to have an accelerated season. Boy, you better hear me, especially for me to operate like this. You're going to have an accelerated season. You know how we judge the speed of light? You know how we talk about the speed of sound? God said this is going to be the speed of favor. It's going to be the speed of favor. And I don't know who this is for. This is the speed. In other words, how fast light travels, how fast sounds travel. God says favor is going to travel just like that. Favor is going to travel just like that. This is the speed of favor. It's going to be an accelerated season. I need you to hear what I said. It's going to be, it won't be long. The season is going to be accelerated. It's going to multiply. You thought this pandemic was designed to take you under. This pandemic was designed to cultivate the ground so you can have an accelerated season, and this will be the speed of favor. Somebody ought to just shout, speed of favor, speed of favor. Just like the light comes on, favor comes on. And I don't know who this is for, but God says the favor is not going to go off. I need you to hear this. He says the favor is not going to go off. I hope you wrote that down. Accelerated season. Somebody shout, accelerated season. Here's another thing. It's going to be accelerated harvest. Okay, there's going to be accelerated harvest. It says blessings like wine pouring of the mountains and the hills. I need you to understand. Let me draw a picture. Remember, this is an agricultural environment to where they deal with hills and valleys. You know how you have ups and downs. But he says it's going to be like a flow coming off the hills and the mountains. Watch this. The word mountains there is plural. The word hills there is plural. But a mountain and a hill is two different things. And God is saying you're going to have, watch this, blessing flowing from every every area. He says from your children there will be flow. From your finances there will be flow. From your family there will be flow. From your company there will be flow. I need you to hear what I'm saying. He says there's going to be accelerated harvest from everywhere, and you're not going to be able to stop it because this will be a speed of favor. This will be favor on your life, and it's coming from mountains, which means even if the enemy try to stop one mountain, you have another flow that's coming. Even if he try to clog up one hill, you got another one that's coming. And you shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bring forth fruit in his season. This is an accelerated season. It's accelerated. I want to draw this picture of abundance. He says, and the blessing will be like abundance, and the blessing will be like abundance, and the blessing will be like wine. I need you to hear me. If the blessing is going to be like wine, hear me, it is not the typical wine that we're talking about now where you go and get drunk off. What happens here, it talks about the crushing of the grapes and how grapes create wine, But I need you to hear me. He says, and this blessing will be like wine. He does not say this blessing will be like grapes. He said this blessing will be like wine. He does not say this blessing will be like the process. He says this blessing will be like wine. Somebody just got that. He says, in other words, I'm going to skip the process. In other words, I'm going to give you accelerated manifestation. In other words, you don't have to worry about the grapes. You're not have to worry about the crushing. He says it's going to be wine. I'm telling you, I heard the Lord say for me to be prophetic during this season. And I don't know who this is for today, but he says it's going to be an accelerated harvest. And you won't have to work for it because when it flows, by the time it gets to you, it's already going to be manifested. And it's going to be a never-ending flow. As long as you create, as long as you bring, as long as you create, as long as you bring the vessels, the oil is going to flow. As long as you do it, the oil is going to flow. Hear me when I say this. Again, I told you, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but somebody better hear what I'm getting ready to say. There's going to be another thing. There's going to be accelerated opportunities. Okay? There's going to be accelerated opportunities. The Bible says, he says, and they'll rebuild their ruined cities. And they'll rebuild their ruined cities. Okay. For the city to be demolished, for the city to be unlivable, for the city to be destroyed and devastated, they're supposed to be at a place to where they cannot grow again, where nothing can be brought up again. As a matter of fact, this was a desolate place. But God says, I'm getting ready to allow them to rebuild what was torn down. Watch the opportunities. If you know anything about contracting, if you know anything about a demolished house, if you know anything about a house that's being condemned, the one thing a contractor does, the one thing a general contractor realizes, especially if you're a restorer, I don't have to have the entire vision. I don't have to have everything put together. Only thing I need is an opportunity. And somebody needs to get that. This now, what you thought was ruined, the season that you thought was ruined. I know you're mad at 2020. I know you're mad at the beginning of 2020, but God says this is the season of opportunity. You have not missed it. The problem is I need you to see it. He says they'll rebuild their ruined cities. God, I feel like testifying to you today. This is the season where I have created new businesses in this season. I created a new business in what some people call a drought. This season created an opportunity for me to bless my family. This season created an opportunity where everybody else was devastated. What they did not see is what I'm opening your eyes to see. This is an opportunity. You thought the city was desolate. You thought this thing was disaster. You thought it was destroyed. But what you did not know is God was clearing the ground so you could have an accelerated opportunity. Somebody shout opportunity, opportunity. He's speeding up. Remember now, I need you to see me. I need you to hear this. He says it's going to come fast. And for it to come fast means you can't miss this opportunity. And I know what the Holy Ghost is saying to me. You cannot miss this opportunity because it does not mean that the opportunity was presented. If you spend too much time complaining, trying to figure it out, then you'll miss the opportunity. If you take so much time trying to say, the city burnt down, I cannot believe this, it's going to take all this to rebuild. No, what you don't understand is when I rebuild it, I can rebuild it to my vision. When I rebuild it, I can rebuild it stronger. So when things were devastated, God was simply clearing the ground. What you did not know is God was opening doors to what you thought was devastation. God said it's really an opportunity. What you thought was an obstacle was really an opportunity. He says they'll rebuild the ruined cities. Watch this, church. This is prophetic. God does not rebuild. It's your job to rebuild. God gives you strength to rebuild, but he does not make you do it. He gives you the opportunity to do it. God does not make you start the business. God will not make you go back to school. God will not make you make the investment. He will just give you the opportunity to make the investment. He will just give you opportunities to go back to school. If you spend too much time murmuring and complaining, God will make sure that opportunity pass you by. If you spend too much time, well, Pastor, I've been going through. Pastor, I've been dealing with some stuff. Watch this, that is a keen opportunity that you're going to miss. All because you're wasting your time murmuring and complaining about where you are. You'll miss the accelerated opportunity because it'll pass you by. And I've had too many opportunities pass me by. I'm in a season of my life now to where, God, I'm saying, let me capture every opportunity. I don't care how fast my opportunity is going. Make me faster than my opportunities. Let me run my opportunities down. Let these blessings come upon me and overtake me. I need you to see this. That's accelerated opportunities. There's another thing I'd be prophetic about. There's going to be accelerated restoration. Okay, I need you to hear me. There's going to be accelerated restoration. The verse says, they'll plant vineyards and they'll drink good wine. They'll plant vineyards, they'll drink good wine. Wait a minute. The city was just in ruin. If the city was in ruin and it had been burnt down, that means there were ashes everywhere. Well, you can't plant where there's ashes. You can't plant where the ground is messed up, which means God has to restore the ground so you can plant the seed. Okay, I need you to hear what I just said, which means God has restored the land. God has restored your mindset. God is trying to restore your opportunities. He's trying to show you accelerated opportunities. So now that he's restored the ground, he said you need to plant, because the only way you're going to get vineyards, the only way them things are coming back is you got to plant something in it. And God says, I'm restoring the land so they can be ready for planting. Okay. They previously was unable to plant, but now it's plantable. The ground is now plantable. In other words, it's ready to receive what you're ready to give, but you can only plant it in the right season. I need you to hear what I'm saying. God is saying, in the season of restoration, I've restored the ground, but I will not plant the seed. I restored the ground, but I will not build. I restored the ground, but the only thing I'm doing is the ground is an opportunity for you to plant. The ground is an opportunity that you do not want to miss. The ground is an opportunity where the devil tried to show you it wasn't any good. But I'm here to tell you today that God is giving a season of restoration. There will be family members. There will be people that will come back into your life. There will be some things that God is now restoring. There will be some money that the enemy owes you that's going to be paid back. There will be some child support that's going to be accelerated where God is going to send you the money. I don't know who this is for today. There will be some lawsuits that God is going to close early. I don't know who that's for today. There's going to be a lawsuit that God is going to close. There's going to be accelerated closure to what the enemy owes you, because the text says they'll work their gardens, they'll eat fresh fruit. Wait a minute. They'll work their garden, they'll eat their fresh fruit, which says something to me, which means God will use his divinity, but you have to use your humanity. In other words, God is saying, I'll do all of this, but you got to make sure you work the ground. You got to make sure you work the garden. You got to make sure, watch this, that you rebuild. Because if you work the garden, I'll give you fresh fruit. And God is saying, you've been eating some bad stuff, but this season I'm going to give you fresh. I'm going to give you fresh vegetables. I'm going to give you fresh fruit. I know you're not used to eating in this new season. Okay, let me be prophetic. Okay, since I'm acting prophetic, God says, I'm getting ready to give you a new appetite. I'm going to give you a new appetite, some new things that you didn't think, that your eyes have not seen, that your ears have not heard, that has not entered into the heart. God says there shall be a new appetite, things you didn't even know to pray for. What do you mean, Pastor? How does God give me a new appetite? He says, I'm able to do exceeding abundantly above or more you can ask or think, which means you weren't even thinking about it, which means there's an appetite that's in your thinking pattern that you have not even been introduced to yet. But today, God is giving you new thinking. No, we're not trying to borrow a car. We're trying to buy cars. No, we're not doing that anymore. God, give us a new appetite. A new appetite for the prophetic. He says, I'll give you fresh vegetables. Then he says, I'll plant them in their own land. I'll plant them in their own land. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me. God says, I'm about to give you property. I'm about to give you land. I'm about to give you homes. I don't know who that's for today. Somebody's been fighting with the credit report. Somebody's been fighting doing something. God says, I'm going to plant them in their own land. In other words, that is ownership, That is ownership, meaning you own something. God, I wish I can prophesy to you what the Lord has done for me and my wife. He says, you're going to own this. This is going to belong to you, and you're going to do it accelerated. But what has to happen is you have to move, and you have to move expediently. You don't have to wait on it. Can I give you a brief testimony? The Lord told me to move on something. And I told my wife about it. I told Lady about it. I said, baby, I just feel it in my spirit. We need to move now. She didn't argue with me. She didn't murmur. She moved when I moved, and we moved together. And I want to tell you, not even 27 days later, not even 27, as a matter of fact, we had an answer 48 hours later, but not even 27 days later, God had already moved. I'm telling you, it is accelerated harvest. That's why I know God told me to be prophetic. He says, what's on me will be on you. And the oil that flows, the oil that flows, he says, I'll plant them in their own, which means you've been renting, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But God says, I'm putting you in a place of ownership. You'll own your business. You'll own your own rights. You'll own, I don't know, I'm talking to a musician today. I'm talking to somebody in their book. You'll own your own publishing. You'll own your own history. You'll own your own masters. He says, and I'll plant them in their own land. I'll put them there. I'll put them in their own lands. I got to deal with this. I'll put them in their own land. Which means God had already predestined the land. I need you to hear me. God had already predestined something from you, or something for you, that he had to keep from you until you got ready. I need you to hear me. God had already predestined, but he had to keep it from you until you got ready so he can give it for you. And it is for you, but he had to wait to the preparation. And today, I believe this is prophetic. As not just prophetic gesture, but the entire service. I got to give you one more. Oh, I said I won't be here long. I got to give you one more. Accelerated power. Accelerated power. Write that down. Accelerated power. Accelerated power. So just in case you're taking notes, I want to make sure I give you this. Accelerated season, accelerated harvest, accelerated opportunities, accelerated restoration, accelerated power, accelerated power. I'm going to show you something. He says, they'll never again be uprooted from the land I've given them, which means this is permanent. Okay. Which means the devil cannot take this from you. Woo. I'm talking to somebody today. God is getting ready to open a door from you that the devil has fought, that God says in this next season that he's going to give you accelerated power, that the enemy cannot take this from you. He says, they'll never be uprooted again, which means they'll be so planted that even if the enemy tries to pull, you ain't going nowhere. This is an everlasting blessing. In other words, he'll give you staying power and he'll give you standing power. Oh, I need you to hear what I just said. He'll give you staying power and he's going to give you standing power. And this is for somebody today that God says this is the season that you shall have accelerated power, that the enemy tried to fight you, that it will not work, that you're going to stay in God's will, that you're going to stand on what he told you, because once again, God says they'll never be uprooted. In other words, God can't be pulled from you. In other words, you're going to hang on to the promises of what he says. But I want to show you something. I want to show you something. God, I can't miss this. Because I wrote this down. I said I wasn't going to be here long, but I kind of wrote this down, and I need you to understand this. Listen, I'm slow walking this for a second because I need you to understand this. This is going to bless you. Please don't tear up your sofa. Please don't throw your mobile device right now for what I'm getting ready to say. I need you to hear me. This is prophetic. Abundance is your new normal. I need you to hear what I just said. Abundance is your new normal. From this day forward, when God opens this door, I need you to hear me. Abundance is not a season. It's your way of living. I need you to understand this. When the Lord dropped this in my spirit, in my devotional, I don't know who this is for today. God says, abundance is your new normal. Abundance is not a season. It's your way of living. You live in the overflow. It cannot be disrupted. It shall come one on top of the other, and it's going to be so fast that it's going to make your head swim, but it will be your new normal. Somebody shout, new normal. New normal. I need it, just in case you did not see, just in case you did not hear me, just in case you did not hear the words that just came out of my mouth. God told me to tell you, I want to be repetitive with this. Abundance is your new normal. Abundance is not a season anymore. It's your way of living. I came on today in my prayer time, and the Lord told me, I am putting the mantle of prophetic on your life. And here's what I want you to do. And if you know me, and if you've watched any of my broadcasts, you've probably seen I'm encouraging, I am empowering. Every now and then I give you little prophetic nuggets or something to go with and how to do that. But the Lord said, I'm putting a prophetic mantle on your life for this service. And he that receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. I need you to hear what I just said. He that receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. I need you to hear what I said. And that is something the Lord has made me declare. I believe God would have punished me if I would not have given you this word. I believe I would have been in trouble if I would not have given you this word. Because somebody's on the precipice. Somebody's on the brink of you're closer than you think. And God says it's accelerated. It's accelerated, and it won't be long. God decrees. God is not a man that he shall lie, neither son of man that he shall repent. Had he not spoken, shall he not make it good? And I believe God is going to back what he told me to speak to you, because it's his word. So I'm declaring this over your life. Promise of restoration and blessing. And it's going to be accelerated. Listen, that's essentially all I have to say for you. I believe the power of God is going to back what he said. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab a seed offering. I don't care what it is. $100, $50, $10, $1, $1,000. Doesn't matter to me. But here's how I'm telling you. And I'm speaking prophetically to you. Give like you want him to bless you. That's all I'm saying. Give like you. I'm going to back that up scripturally. He that giveth sparingly, he that soweth sparingly, shall also reap sparingly. But he that soweth bountifully, shall also reap bountifully. So it's not about the money, it's about the motive. So I want you to give. So whether it's your tithe, now this is opposite of your tithe, and this is opposite of your tithe, to where you feel, God, I need to sow into prophetically into what he just spoke. So that's what I'm declaring and decreeing over your life. Promises of restoration and blessing. I have done what the Lord has commanded me to do. I have done what he has told me to do. I have run out of time. And prophetically for this, I have run out of words. That's all he told me to tell you. Listen, I love you. This is Pastor Don Johnson. If you want to know more content about what we do, go check out my YouTube page, Pastor Don Johnson. Thank you for joining us, our Facebook family. Thank you for joining our YouTube family. Thank you for those who watch me on our website. I absolutely love you. To our e-members, I love you as well. We'll always stay in contact. You will always stay connected. Go over to our website if you need more information about us, who we are, what we do, you want to join, or you just need prayer. We have intercessors prayer that are praying around the clock. But today, my assignment was to be prophetic. And I'm doing what God told me to do. Promise of restoration and blessing. Let me leave you with this last word as I get ready to sign off. Abundance is your new normal. Abundance is not a season. It's your way of living. God bless you. Till our next broadcast.
Thank you for joining the House of Prayers live stream. We hope you enjoyed the message by our pastor, Don Johnson. We encourage you to get connected and stay connected with the house by following us on Facebook at THP Jacks and on our website, www.thehousemen.com. You can also connect with Pastor Don on Facebook at Pastor Don J and on YouTube at Pastor Don Johnson. If you would like to submit a prayer request, visit our website at www.thehousemen.com and fill out the connection card with your information and your prayer request. The house is here for you. So remember, get connected and stay connected.